host of Life Full Circle Radio. We are already in it in the green room. Our guest, India Delgado's already early, so we that's why I'm opening up a smile on my face. So funny, I posted a picture on Instagram. You follow me at Miguel Lloyd Inc. And I guess I really smile on the internet, in the internet streets, and folks done went crazy. It was like, oh, you look so happy. I'm like, I guess I don't normally look happy. Anyway, all right, so this week, we're going to talk about mortgage check-in because, the story came out a couple of weeks ago where Bank of America's now has got some product that you're going to have no money down type of situation. And, most of us who done bought mortgages, had mortgages in our life said, I'm calling foul. Something's going on with this here. So we're going to talk about that. Queen of England passed away. Colonized are not responding as the rest of the world, as it's all over the news right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. A lot of stuff going on. And then this brother PNB Rock got killed in LA. And I want to talk about that a little bit. So let's go. Oh, look at, we got a smile from the super producer. First thing out the gate, we ready? Everything. What's up?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the show. They got my new long India.
I see. I am not my hair.
And the sad thing is, I learn a new lesson every day having my son when I get my hair braided. He looks at me and goes, I can't wait to swing on your hair or rip one of them out. And that's the first thing he does. He's like, oh, yay, I can swing on this.
Absolutely.
My edges.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's gonna be a great show today. We got a lot going on, and like I said, we got an absolute pro in the green room, not only in the mortgage space, but she's a great content creator. So, I don't have to teach her a little bit about what's going on because she already knows. She knows better than I do a lot of times.
And it's always great having good content creators because last week we had Dr. Honda on, great content creator. Now we have India on, great content creator. So if you think you're a good content creator, this is where you can test your legs out with us.
Absolutely. Come on, hang out with us. All right, couple of quick announcements before we get into the show. I have a interview I'm doing next week. Detavio Samuels, who is the CEO of Revolt Media and TV. If you're in the Atlanta market, there are a few slots left. We're not letting everybody and their mom up in there, so you need to go to Eventbrite, and we'll make sure we put it in the in the comments, so you'll have that. Matter of fact, let me do that now, so you guys can register there if you want to come through. And then another announcement, we got a new affiliate relationship, Traffic Sales and Profit. Traffic Sales and Profit. If you are an African American owned business, and obviously you can come anyway, but this is a primarily community of African American entrepreneurs. And these folks are the bomb. And so it's a new affiliate relationship we have with them. And so there's going to be a link in the chat. You can grab that too if you want to. First $100,000 online training for a fundamental phase of growing a six-figure business. This is not one of those get-rich-quick schemes. They have some very legitimate seven-figure earners that are doing very well in that community. And so
we don't do MLMs here. We don't do get rich quick here. No. Nah, that's not our vibes.
That's not how we get down. So both of those announcements are in the chat. You can get to that information very quickly. All right, let's get into the show today. First out the gate, we got to talk about the Queen Elizabeth, 96 years old, passed away last week. You can't turn on the news right now, and it's not a processional and some stuff. But let's go and get into it. Go ahead.
So Queen Elizabeth died. She passed away last week. I don't have the exact information because my mind is so blown away by the fact that it was just reported that there is a 30-hour wait to see her body laying in state. They have already told people, listen, it's a long wait. This is a 3-mile walk you will have to make. I mean, they're actually having people watch people in the line. If anybody faints, they have ambulances already ready because people are already lined up. Like, no joke. If you turn the news right now, people are waiting to see it. And I think it's wonderful. She was the longest monarch to ever reign. And that's ever. That's not just, in the last 50, in the last, 200 years. No, ever. Longest running monarch, and at 70 years. So the long life. But a lot of people are questioning if that life really brought glory to the kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. And, obviously, the government is different than it was in the in the Game of Thrones days, right? A lot of people said that this monarchy doesn't have a whole lot of power.
They don't.
You don't have a whole lot of power. It's a lot more pomp and circumstance. But the colonized black folk, people of color, nations, people from India, people from the Caribbean, they have just not responded the same way as as others. I want this was the funniest. This was the funniest one for me. Here we go.
Queen Latifah?
No.
Beyonce?
No.
Janet?
No.
Mary J?
No.
Lauryn Hill?
No.
Tony Braxton?
No.
Diana Ross?
No.
Tracy Ellis Ross?
No.
Monica?
No.
Brandy?
No.
Maya?
No.
Missy?
No.
The Spice Girl?
No.
Alicia?
No.
Ashanti?
No.
Mariah?
No.
Ashante.
Girl, the Queen of England.
Adele?
No.
Who the hell are they talking about then?
So I'm sorry the video didn't run smoothly right there because her facial expressions were amazing, but you know we're at a place now where people are so honest because of their access, and you know you got a lot of folks like this monarchy that stole all these jewels from African nations and has been you know
Stole more than jewels.
stole people obviously.
No, people into straight up wealth from India.
Yeah.
They have stolen wealth
Yeah.
from, I mean, I feel like India next to Africa is probably the other biggest country that was affected. Like Africa, the continent, of course, but India, the country was really affected by the British.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy, like stole gold and statues and claimed it for their own. So have stolen jewels, put it inside of their there's actually
crowns
a jewel
and
for
all,
crowns.
absolutely. Yeah.
That Pakistan and India are both like, yo, can we have that back? They're like, no, it's ours now. We took it, it's ours. What are you talking about? That's not a thing. And it just, the only thing I can say is that Queen Elizabeth, aka Lilibet, had nothing to do with these things when they happened back in the day. You can make that face all you want to, but she didn't. Tell me I'm real.
No, you know, she's 400 years old when she passed, so she might have been part of it.
Y'all, this lady has been 5 different ages with Miguel. She went from 400 in our production meeting to 196. I think she went to high school with Jesus. And
I'm
it's
telling
like,
you,
wow.
but you know, we can't absolve this family like they're not who they are, and then the whole situation with Diana, you know,
And
we
now
know there was.
Meghan.
Then you got the Meghan Markle and how she's been disrespected. And that's you know last week. So you know this family, you know, and then you got Charles. What is he? King Charles III. Now he been Prince Charles so long, like it was just so funny watching this old man walk around talking about he a prince. And now he's finally King Charles, and they probably rubbing their palms together like he's gonna die any
I
day
bet
now.
you when people started first calling him King Charles, you know who they was talking to. He just sitting there continuing his porridge. They're like, who? Where? Oh, okay, it's me. But yes, he is now. I want to do the Game of Thrones style. He is, you know, King Charles II, first of his name, King of the Andals, the first man.
You know, so for all y'all out there clutching your pearls because we're disrespecting the throne, get over it.
Charles in charge. Hey, as people who live in America, we don't actually care. It doesn't really make a
give a
difference.
damn. I do
Wow,
not.
I think he's 76 now. He's in his mid to early 70s.
That's
so
it.
He ain't got a whole lot of time. And I'm surprised he hasn't advocated because he does not want to do this job. He has done interviews where he said, I don't want to do this job at this age. He wants to pass it over to William, who is technically the next in line.
And we always get it mixed up. Which one? William is the balding one. And
the bald one.
The bald one is William, and the redhead one is one married to Meghan Markle.
His name is Harry. His name is Harry.
That makes sense because he has hair. So that's how I'm going to remember him. He's Harry, the redhead dude who has hair, and William, who's bald-headed, is now the prince.
People had the nerve to actually say that William looked sexy today in his uniform. I'm like, I'm sure you're wrong about that. I'm not sure what definition of sexy you mean. Now, does he look regal? Absolutely. Does he look appropriate? Of course. Does he look sexy? Is frog sexy? No.
All right. So anyway, if you care about Queen Elizabeth and you want to, all you do turn on your TV right now. It's on somebody's tube somewhere. It's
channel.
Everywhere. So feel free, but I don't.
Except for BET. You're safe on BET and TV One.
Yeah. It's too many Tyler Perry movies going on over there. All right. So big story came down day before yesterday with PNB Rock was killed at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA. The reason why this is important because I don't know the kid. I don't know him as a rhymer. But this has become much more of an epidemic than we realize.
Yes.
Because you got a situation now where rappers are getting shot. You just have when you look at this tweet that came out, a young Dolph got killed in Memphis. Dolph was getting cookies for his mama. PNB was eating with his girl. Nipsey was out on his turf. Pop Smoke was in the shower. With social media being what it is, and the levels of access that we have to them, which we shouldn't, and it's up to them. They don't have to go and say, I'm out here and I'm here. And see, the first thing that came out, they said the young lady who was PNB's girlfriend posted a location where they were at this Roscoe's
She
Chicken
did
Waffle.
she did what all people do. I'm gonna tag myself when I'm with my family. We're out here to eat this cute little restaurant.
Right.
Basic activity on social media.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, you don't have a basic life.
This is true.
You're there with a rapper who's got jewels on. Now, here's the thing. I was on Clubhouse yesterday and listening in, or the night before, or I think it was Fanbase actually. And there was a guy out there that was from LA. And he said, here's the thing. In LA, we don't go to that particular Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles because it's owned and operated by the gangs. It's owned and operated by the Crips. And so what that girl posted didn't matter because the thieves were already there. As soon as they came through, they saw who he was. They called up the people who's going to be the dudes who come rob him. It was 1:00 in the afternoon. These cats was eating lunch, and they messed around, and it was 1:00 in the afternoon, and they robbed and killed this guy. We are
in front of his family. His daughter was there as well.
Oh man, that's just so scary.
It is.
Man, we are in a place, man, the way these cats are moving, the way they got to move, the access, we talk about it on the show all the time. The social currency, it brings so much value, but then it brings so much danger as well. And when you talk about the number of rappers have been shot and killed in the last 2-3 years, it's crazy.
It's insane. And we're just talking about the rappers that are semi well known. I think people also remember when I think his name was Extension.
Yeah, right.
He was killed in his own neighborhood when he was coming out of somewhere. Some boy walked up and shot him in the car. And I think a lot of people's sentiment, including myself, and I hate to say this, stop going back to y'all's hoods. Y'all are not those guys anymore. You don't have, though you may think you're one of the people, you're not one of the people anymore. And it's sad to say that, but you're not. You're a celebrity with a lot to lose.
Absolutely. And I think the guy from LA made a very good point. His point was, okay, a lot of this is happening. When we talk about what is happening with these rappers, a lot of it's happening in LA. They go to LA and they don't know the lay of the land. They feel like they can move around and have a way they want. He's just like, you don't come to LA and move any way you want. He was like, this whole area is ran by the gangs. It's like there's so many gangs in here. And when you start talking about them owning businesses in somewhere like a Roscoe's, and you go in there and you think this is cool. He said, being from LA, born and raised in LA, he never goes to that Roscoe's.
And that seems odd to me too. That Roscoe's does not seem like, and not because it's chicken and waffles or ghetto. It just doesn't seem. It's a tourist trap. Like tourists go there. So why you as a neighborhood guy like, let's go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?
Well, no. His point was that it's dangerous. Period, because it's owned by a certain faction of the Crips, and they're known to be that is their haven. They own the place. Yes.
They're buying up franchises. No, I'm not even being funny.
Yeah, why not? The Crips are a 50, 60, 70-year-old gang. It's old people who are old as our fathers who are Crips, right?
Yes, so they with franchises, it's like, yes, you person who has no real career background who walks in here with $100,000, you can join our franchise. As somebody in the franchise space, it's just weird hearing that happen. But
and that's just it. And that's the part we have to make sure that we have to respect that. Shoot, Snoop's a Crip. Right? So you don't think, of course Snoop's got enough money to go buy a franchise and they're going to sell it to him. Right?
I feel like Snoop's a different situation. You think Snoop's going to let them run out of the...
It is. Well, my point is that let's just say it's a Crip who's 50 years old now and who's been in the real estate game, but he's still affiliated because he took his drug money and that's just legit the way he got into the game. So it's not something that is unheard of. Once it came to my attention, I said, wow, that makes you, when you go into LA, you better know somebody and say, okay, what part of town can I go into? Let me know and whatever. All right, so let's jump into our favorite segment of the show.
Yeah.
So these are the
No,
stories that are on these internet streets to make us go, what? What happened?
ugh.
All right, so let's start. Number 5 for the week. Nicki Minaj fans accused of doxing on Twitter. I had to look doxing up. I said, what does that mean? So here's what the definition of it is. Doxing or dox is the act of publicly providing personal identifiable information about an individual organization, usually via the internet. So basically, people are out here mad, and you go ahead and set this story up, because I just want you to bring it to the mix.
I'm going to say this and be very clear about this, and I do not cuss on the show for a specific reason. I'm going to say this. Nicki Minaj is an asshole. 100,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Not because her fans are doxing Kimberly Nicole Foster, who's another Black YouTuber. It's because she liked the tweets of them doxing this girl and then tried to go back and delete them after people took screenshots of it.
Right.
You are a woman who has an amazing, outstanding career,
right.
or had some talent, and now
Right.
you are now supporting Twitter trolls. It's bad enough that you had a child with somebody like your husband, Kenneth Petty, who is practically a registered sex offender, who had went to jail for manslaughter charges because you went back to the hood and brought one of those hood boogers up into your life. Like, it just blows me away that she would be where she is right now. She's constantly feuding with rap girls. She has nothing to show for all the work she's done.
Maybe she does. That's where that keeps her relevant. That's the, here's the thing. We are sitting here on Live Full Circle Radio talking about this. I've never bought a Nicki Minaj album in my life. Don't stream her music. I know who she is, obviously. This social currency, which we talked about with Dr. Honda last week. If you missed last week's show, go back to our YouTube page. You can pull it up. And this social currency is what they love. And for someone, I just can't imagine the ability to pick up your phone, send out a tweet, and have millions of people that are jumping in one way or the other, and you can just stir up crap, just a drop of a hat. And that's where the Kanyes and the Nicki Minaj's and these people are. You can tell that it feeds them. This tweet that she sent out. Now let's hope the people, you guys, are doing all the. So part of the story is that there was another. What's her name? Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, Nosy Ho, who is also
Nosy Ho. Lord have mercy. The girl's name is
who's
Nosy
also
Ho.
Who's also another YouTuber.
Yeah.
Now she came out with defamatory stuff that was absolutely not true, and even brought Nicki's child into that. So all the other YouTubers are like, "You are on your own, nosy girl. We don't want nothing to do with this because this is different. You're not reporting on the news."
She's not nosy girl. She's Nosy Ho.
Okay. Yeah, she's nosy H word. I'm not sure what we're supposed to say, but Nicki should sue her. I mean, it's like with the Tasha K, Cardi B situation. Y'all just can't be out here on YouTube saying whatever you want to say with no consequences. But the reason why she doxed Kimberly Nicole Foster, because all Kimberly Nicole said was that Nicki Minaj's new song, Freaky Girl, is the same old, same old. It hasn't evolved. Well, let's be honest. Nicki Minaj's music has not evolved. It's the same old big booty shaking, starships are here to fly. It's the same old stuff. And it's crazy. Next topic.
Right. And then, of course, I think she used the old Rick James joint. And, of course, that made it super popular. So, anyway. Number 4. I ain't even gonna. I'm gonna try. She by Sheree. Did I say it right that time?
Go, boy. You better go. Yes.
She by Sheree. Is it a ripoff? So there's a big story about this. Sheree Whitfield, who's on again, off again star of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She finally released it. She's been working on it for 13 years, 14 years. She finally put it out. And now people are saying, oops, that's the same stuff I can buy off Amazon. And it's cheaper. So you give us the backstory here.
You can buy this stuff from Shein. You can buy this stuff from Fashion Nova. You can buy this stuff from Walmart.com. And the price points there are going to be $30 to $40. The price point on her site for a complete set, $175. For a sweatshirt and pants, $252. She got a lot of nerve. Like she has the balls of a mobster. Like, and no one's buying it.
Oh, you just a potty mouth today. My gosh, you just letting it.
It's just all these what topics are just like so annoying. Like, you guys are Black women who are supposed to be representing us well, and you're representing us like jerks, and it just makes me so upset. But
I don't know. This story crazy. Is kind of like it's kind of a shrug to me. There's a lot of white labeling that goes on in the industry. She's selling stuff because
people admit to the white labeling. They admit, and they also pay the designers they white label from. She's even telling designers, "No, I'm not going to pay you for that. I'm not going to pay you for your design. I don't care." What?
Yeah, well, it's out there now. Let's see how she fixes it. All right, let's move on. Number 3, Neo cannot stay out of our trail Okay, so now this dude just really wants his divorce to be really expensive.
He
Uh,
does.
he
Child.
he must got a new movie or new album coming out, and he gonna try to backfield his dough because. So he suggests his estranged wife should go get a job as divorce heats up. Brother,
Huh?
brother.
What? You cheated on her. Like, this is how this works. You cheat. You have a side baby. Now you have to pay. That's just how the life works. This is how the world works in this situation. It's not she secured the bag. You didn't have to cheat. Y'all could have stayed married.
Uh,
What's confusing about this? Why is he telling her to get a job? I don't understand it.
Here's the thing: you can think that all you want, brother. Keep that to yourself, because her job is
Yeah.
gonna be being your ex-wife. That's gonna be her job. She can put that on her resume. She can put that in her social media profile, because that's where her money's gonna come from. It's gonna come from you, bro. That is what it
Ugh,
is. All right,
stupid.
number 2. This dude can't stay out of a hot what either. Aries Spears speaks says he's not guilty of anything. Sir, we saw the video. We've
Thank
seen
you, Miguel.
as much as we could take of the video with you, with eyes cut out of a newspaper, and you looking at a little boy in his drawers. We've seen it. You guilty of being a creep. We know that much. So how far it's gonna go as far as legalities, if it's gonna be criminal or if it's gonna be civil, the bottom line is you should have left Lizzo alone. That's the bottom line.
Do you think he's talking about legally guilty? Because legally, no, he's not guilty, but he did something wrong. Do you think he's trying to play word games with us, like semantics? Is a semantic situation?
I think he needs to shut up and let his lawyers handle
Okay.
this stuff. That's what I think he needs to do, because you're guilty of being an idiot. We know that.
Absolutely.
You're guilty of being a creep. You're guilty of you calling up promoters now saying, we good. We don't need you on our show. You're guilty about to go broke. That's what you're guilty of, because this is just dumb. You came out with this Lizzo thing. You thought you was doing something because she's a hot girl on the block. You wanted to make fun of her. And then you had her whole community coming after you. And now this came back up. And so now.
And it's crazy that he can't show contrition like Tiffany Haddish has. Tiffany Haddish put a statement saying, it was wrong. I shouldn't have did it. We're going to get this legal case figured out, but I'm so sorry. Like, he should have done that. Like, where's going on on his team, in his camp, where they would think, oh yeah, just go full force and say that you're not guilty and you didn't do anything wrong. That's not a good plan in this situation.
I don't really believe
Here's a
Aries Spears
video.
has a real camp. I think he's just out here making these decisions on his own. And he's choosing to be a social media troll, and now he's going to pay the price for it. And this stuff doesn't go away. This stuff is now living in the world forever. And so you about to be R. Kelly. All right. So last what of the week, R. Kelly says Kris Jenner directed the infamous tape.
Did you say R. Kelly? You meant Ray J.
I meant Ray J. All right. You know what I meant. I just said R. Kelly out of my mouth. He got a new song out. Can you believe it? R. Kelly.
Who does?
R. Kelly. Anyway, we're gonna talk
From
about that.
where?
It's on iTunes. It's there. Somebody's seen a screenshot, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
So Ray J,
sorry.
I have not, we've talked about this story for years. Ray J is the genesis of the popularity of this Kardashian family.
Absolutely.
And now it's coming out that he's basically saying, I done kept my mouth shut for the better part of 20 years.
Yes, and he absolutely has. We cannot say that this man has mentioned this all the time and he's using this for clout. He's never talked about it. He's always kind of been like, yeah, it was a long time ago, whatever.
Right.
But now with the new Kardashian show, Kim made a comment about, there was a new tape that she thought was out and that he probably stuck a dildo in her butt while she was sleeping. And he was like, wait a minute, that's rape. Like, you're literally accusing me of rape on a big, huge TV show. I'm done. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
I'm bringing everything out now. And
Right.
he has receipts. He is
And that's
not
just
playing.
it. That's just it. And he hasn't, he could have built his career. He's doing fine. But he could have built a bigger career if he wanted to build it off the platform of this sex tape and all this stuff. And he's never really done it. He's never really.
No.
He let the Kardashians ride it to the moon. You got a billionaire coming out the family and all that type of stuff. And now all of a sudden, y'all still want to leave him alone. If I'm Ray J, I'm like, all right, y'all want this smoke? All right, here you go. You can have it.
Are you the one who called Kris Jenner a pimp? Was that you?
Yeah, I did. Madam.
Okay.
Well, I call her madam.
I'm
Yeah.
madam. You called her
Yeah.
madam. You called her
Yeah.
madam.
Yeah, because now in this story it says, okay, she made them reshoot. So of course I've never seen the tape. So, but my understanding is that it was supposed to be kind of like a spontaneous, like it was never supposed to see the shot. Now we seeing that she had cut, do that again. You know what I mean? Like you told him to reshoot the tape, and you got contracts and all this type of nonsense. I'm like, Kris Jenner, you are a madam. You have pimped
And she's
out your
definitely a
own
madam.
children.
I've never seen a mom be completely fine with all of her daughters having as much plastic surgery as they've had. They've had a lot of plastic surgery. Again, if that was my mom, she would be like, if you want to, that's fine, but let's just slow down for a minute. Like, I don't know. It just hurt the whole Kardashian vibe now. I think it's starting to lose its luster that it had earlier. I think even the Hulu show's not doing as well as they hoped it would. It's not.
We've seen this act. It's been on for 20 years, right? And so, I don't know how much Kanye is involved or his tweets and all. It's just
he is going off too. He's
you know,
having
this-
a whole
Wow, this stuff is exhausting.
And that brings up something else you and I wanted to talk about. Kanye made a tweet about how Kim deals with diarrhea a lot, and I know you brought that up to me.
I was like, why is he talking about that? But you had a story behind that. Go ahead.
And the reason is because they do a lot of diuretics, like flat tummy teas and all that kind of stuff. Those are diuretics. They're not just, they just help you get rid of gas, or they just help you work out. No, they're not pre-workouts. They're not creatine. They are literally diuretics that help you that make you go to the bathroom. And I feel like she's at a point in her life where she needs to stay thin, keep her body right. She can't go through surgery constantly, so she takes diuretics. And it's to me, it sounds like she has an eating disorder at this point. I'm not putting it on her, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't even know how old they are now. It's like, I guess Kim got to be pushing
40s and late 30s.
Yeah, she's got to be pushing 40 by now. I guess, they're not going to look the same all the time. And this is how they built their career. Their career is built off how they look. And this is going to be a challenge for them. Which one of them has? So you said it's one that actually is a real model.
Yes. Kendall, the younger sister.
Kendall's a real model, and I think you said she doesn't really have a lot of surgery. She
has no surgery.
So she has no surgery.
Wait, she had a nose job. That's it. She had her nose done.
That's the start. That's where Michael started. That's what Michael Jackson started with the nose job.
Okay, let's go ahead.
All right. So anyway, let's get into our show today. And if you missed any part of the early part of the show, we didn't talk about a whole lot in the first half hour. So go back, check it out, or go subscribe to YouTube, whatever. All right, so we talked about this a couple weeks back, and about this Bank of America deal that came out. And so basically, with this deal, it supposedly is going to be a product that you will not have to put money down, and it'll be easy to qualify for, and all this type of stuff. And so many of us who have done this for a while, and we've had mortgages, we're like, And so, I'm sorry, my antenna always goes up, and I started thinking, well, so are they going to put all of those people, they're only going to be to qualify in neighborhoods that are largely black, and they're going to help bring the property value down to people who done worked hard? There's so many nefarious things that started going through my mind about how this is going to work out. But I said, you know what? When I know what I know, I know what I know. But when I don't know what I know, I go find people to talk about it who know what I don't know. And so I reached out to my girl, India Delgado, who is a great content creator and mortgage broker in the space. Good evening.
What is cracking? What's popping?
See, she better. See, she fancy.
I'm gonna say her soundboard works. I'm already hyped.
Hold
She has
on,
a soundboard that works. Don't you turn that soundboard on, Miguel. Don't you turn that soundboard on.
Hold on.
No.
So inside joke. Hold on. Inside joke. I don't ever hit the right button.
Never. One time he was trying to give me applause and he gave me crickets. So
No, I get that. I've done that.
So here's the funny thing. Before we get into the mortgage part, India is a great content creator. She is, I have my stream deck sitting here. She's an expert in that space. She knows she teaches that, and there's a lot of good stuff. But we're going to talk today about mortgages. So we're going to talk about what you do in that space. How long have you been a mortgage broker?
6 years. This November makes 6 years.
nice.
Wow. So you have seen a lot of change in the industry, in the game in the last few years. A lot has gone on. And of course, with everything's going on the last couple of years, the pandemic and Home prices are going crazy. Tell us about first of all, what's going on in the industry. We're seeing these interest rates going crazy right now. Is it calming down, or what's the latest?
We were actually, so I just came from a meeting today. We were talking about that, and the market is slowing down. So during the pandemic, because pretty much the economy crashed. So first thing with mortgage rates is that a lot of people believe that the mortgage rates are directly linked to the Fed, the Federal Reserve, and
Right.
that is incorrect. The mortgage rates are linked to the 10-year Treasury bond. There is a correlation, but there is not a direct correlation. So what happens is that we all watch the news and we're like, oh, the Fed is raising the rate. Or, back when the pandemic started, it was, oh, the Fed is lowering the rate. The Fed is lowering the rate. And immediately people start calling, you lowering rates, you lowering rates. And it's like, no, just because the Fed lowers, it's a totally different industry.
Right.
That's one. I say that because when the Fed increases, we will increase. But again, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a day. It's not a direct thing. But once it does increase, everything continues. So we were talking about that today. It seems like the rates are going to continually, gradually go up. This is the highest that they've been, I
In a
think,
while.
in years.
Many
Yeah,
years,
in years. I
yeah.
think the 80s or something
Yeah,
like that, or the
yeah, yeah.
90s. Back in the 90s, I think they were in the
But you
8s,
think about
9s.
back in
and
the
things
80s,
like
people were paying 13%. They were
that.
paying
Exactly. But I mean, it's all perspective. The homes were also $100,000.
true.
So although the interest rate is much higher, 13% on a $100,000 house versus 13% on a $600,000 house,
Right.
it's
There's
a
a big
big difference.
difference.
You're still losing money, obviously, but
Right.
it's not necessarily apples to apples.
Correct.
So they are saying that the market is still going to go up for the next year. Honestly, that's the
Okay.
next projection,
Okay.
that for the next year the market's going to go up. And I said that because it was a refinance market for the last 2 years of the pandemic, and because all the rates dropped significantly, now it's flipping. I don't want to say it's a purchase market, because it's not. It is a purchase market, but not the way
Talk to us
we
a little bit about
want
what
it to
that
be.
means. So talk to us
It's
about
not
what
a
that
purchase.
means.
Well,
Tell us the difference.
Right.
it's a purchase market, then the other person has nowhere to go because they can't afford anywhere to go.
Correct.
Right. So basically, it's either a purchase market or a refi market. So what that means is that depending on where the interest rates are, people are either refinancing their homes or they're buying homes. Right now, people are not refinancing because chances are you probably refinanced in the last 2 years, or you probably bought in the last 2 years. So your rate is 100%
Better.
your rate should be. And what I will say is, if you didn't refinance in the last 2 years, shame on you. And I feel for you, because you lost a lot of money.
You lost a lot of money.
You
So
lost a lot of money.
so this story came out about this Bank of America product that's coming out, and people who I know in your space, they
Yeah.
scrambled a little bit, but they immediately was just like, "You're right." What was your
Yeah.
what was your thought when you first heard about this? For people who haven't heard, Bank of America supposedly has a product coming out. They're not going to require any down payment.
Right.
It's going to be your credit score is going to be as strong. What's your thoughts? What's your instincts telling you?
And
about
also,
the
their
product?
test market is Miami. I just read that their test market to start this off with is going to be in Miami.
Okay.
No, it's in, hold on. I'll tell you right now, because I pulled it up. It's actually, there's a few. Chicago. You got Chicago. Wow, I just had it because I knew we were going to talk about this. Let me pull it up really quick. I know that it was Chicago, Detroit. It's a few different
Yeah, the
areas.
article I'm looking at says Miami is one of the test markets as well.
Okay.
So
And that could make sense because they're targeting Black and Hispanic neighborhoods.
I say it's a
Okay,
black
so hold on,
location.
hold on.
Correct.
Everybody
Hold on. Wait. So I have to be very careful. So I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm a banker. There is a
Okay.
difference.
Okay.
And I do have to be careful. That's why I don't talk about this stuff with my regular content creation,
Yep.
because you know how I work for a corporation, and corporates have their employee handbook.
Yes.
And I was told once that I have to be careful when I talk about this stuff on my content creation, because if it's deemed as if I'm representing the bank, it can
Yes.
be
Got it.
misconstrued.
We
So
get
to
it.
make it perfectly clear, these views and opinions are my own. Just needed to
All
get
right,
that out there.
Exactly. Please,
absolutely.
we're not trying to mess up nobody's coin. So whatever you can give us, you can give us. If not,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
good with that. So
Now
just
we
give
gonna
us your
talk.
perspective. Thank you, Indy.
No,
Now
now
let's
we're
talk.
going to talk. Now
Let's
we're going to
talk.
talk. So
Let's
here's the
talk.
thing. I feel like I'm a little bit more passionate in this than, let's say, if you were to talk to another loan officer, because I actually specialize. My niche is first-time home buyers. My niche
Okay.
is low to moderate income borrowers
Mm-hmm.
or low to moderate income tract areas. So my main job is to find those borrowers, to partner with nonprofit agencies, to partners like with chambers of commerce, right? Commerce, to work with the bank's CRA, Community Reinvestment Act department, making sure that we have a really good product.
Okay.
So this hits close to home for me
Okay.
for a few different reasons. It's good and bad.
Yeah.
So one of the terms that I've heard in the last 6 years in doing this is, I'm sure you guys, and if you're not, we can talk about it, right? You guys have heard of redlining, right? So
Absolutely.
back in the
Yes.
60s,
Very familiar.
right? So we know
Very
because we have to know, right? You know, in the 60s, the banks literally drew maps, had maps, and literally drew with a red marker.
Yep.
This is facts, guys. For those of you guys that don't know, actual
Absolutely.
red marker
Yep.
with maps, and drew lines around neighborhoods where they did not want to lend in.
Yep.
That's why it's called redlining. And so the CRA Act, Community Reinvestment Act, was created. And that's why I have a job. The banks are now regulated. And the banks, all of the banks in America, have an obligation to loan in low to moderate income areas. And for our language in the hood, that's what that means, in the hood, for lack of better words.
Yes.
Or to low to moderate income borrowers. So what you'll hear if you're in my industry now is the term reverse redlining. So if you think about that,
Okay.
I see Miguel already thinking.
Yeah. No. You got those wheels turning. I'm definitely listening now. Reverse redlining. What does that mean?
Think about it, right? So back in the day, redlining was where the banks did not want to lend at. If we're reversing that, right?
Wow.
It's like what they do, what they're doing in the DC area now. I don't know. My grandmother lived in Metro DC, very close to the White House. Now all of a sudden they moved all of those black families out, and now it's only white families who moved in the neighborhood. I went to go see her. Well, when her funeral was, went to go see the house. She was the only black owned home. Everybody else, white. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen, and that's what you mean. Like they're pushing all the black people out, and all the white people in these areas now.
We're not saying that,
we're not
right?
saying
But
that.
They're not saying that. She can't say that.
She's not saying that. So this is my show, and so she didn't say it. But here's the thing, because
I said it.
Right, because when I heard this, like I said, my wheels turn. I always think there's always got to be a motive, right?
Yeah,
and somebody like us, I'm from the hood. All of us on this call, we done made it out. Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, I know.
Yeah.
You have.
It's hood light. I'm sorry. It's hood light.
You hood light. I'm hood. Right? And so when I think about that, I say to myself, we done worked hard. The neighborhood I live in right now, middle class neighborhood, upper, it is, Kia, stop it. So
it's middle class or it's upper middle class?
It ain't upper middle class. It's maybe one upper, not two uppers. Anyway.
Right.
You got
when I drove here, I didn't even want to park my car in his driveway. I was like, my car doesn't belong here.
Whatever.
It's like
I'm out of place.
So anyway,
I'm gonna walk a few blocks because I don't want to be seen coming out my car.
But here's the thing. Let me make my point. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
This community, we are in a primarily what used to be a farm community that obviously farmers sold the land to some developers through these, and you know those type of communities, India. They're all over the world. And 70% of our community is black. And none of us are from Georgia. I can stand in my front yard and I can look next door neighbor. She's from, and he's from Miami, and she's from New York, and whatever. But then I say to myself, just 2 miles away from here is some poor communities of people trying to make it out, right? Yeah. And so then all of a sudden, will Bank of America say, "Oh, we'll qualify for a home over there," and then all of a sudden, our home values start to get hurt by the community which is moving in, and it's always this dichotomy. Some people are listening to this right now. It's like, "Oh, Miguel, you're a sellout." No, that's not what I'm saying. I love my people, but I love my people when they're mature. I love my people when they respect the community.
Thank you.
Right. Right.
And
Listen,
let's be
clean
clear,
up.
there's
Put
nothing
the
wrong with
trash down the
making
block.
that.
Listen,
There's nothing wrong with saying
Right.
that. There's nothing,
Right.
absolutely nothing wrong with
Right.
saying that, and that's important
Right.
to let Miguel off the hook. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. Now, all of us want to
Right.
live near everybody in our community. Some of us are just like,
And
nah,
that's just
I'm
it.
cool.
When,
Let
when
me
they
next to
start
you.
these
Right.
zero down, lower qualifying mortgages, are they going to let them go wherever they want? So if they can
Yeah.
get that lower down and go move into anybody's neighborhood, then that's fair.
Yeah.
But will that be
Yeah.
the case?
Well, wait a minute. I have a actually better question for you, India. So there's
Mhm.
no mortgage, there's no down payment on the mortgage. Okay, fine, whatever. If there's no down payment on the mortgage, the people they're offering to, will they be able to actually pay the bill month to month? Because yes, there's no down payment, but there's still a month to month bill you have to pay. So how will that work? Because we all know if they can't pay, getting out of a mortgage is a
Right.
long process. You could end up living there for 6
Right.
months until they actually foreclose on you. So how does that process work
Yeah,
now?
depending on where
Right.
you are.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, so before I forget, regarding it, because I'm interested what they haven't talked about it. That's one. Two, they do have, right? They have like up to $15,000 down payment assistance, Bank of America.
Mhm.
And a lot of banks are offering some sort of, and this is in the form of bank of, if it's not a no down payment. I'm sure that they might have, and I was trying to read different articles. It sounds like that there's a grant that they're going to give to
Okay.
offset
Oh, okay.
down
Okay.
payment,
Got it.
Okay.
right? What I will say about the current program that they have that's nationwide that a lot of people don't know is that that down payment assistance they're offering is a tax implication to you. It is not free money. Okay?
See, there's always a
And
catch.
that is not standard practice. Okay?
Right.
That's not, because I work with
Yes.
down payment assistance throughout
Right.
where I'm at in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
I work with a grant that offers $10,000, and it is a grant. Now there
A
are
true
things
grant.
that they have to do. They'll put a lien on your home with whatever the terms are. You got to be there for 5 years. Some places are 10 years, right?
Mhm.
If you refinance or you move out, sometimes it's prorated, right? So like the organization I work with, it's 5 years and it's prorated. So it's going to be whatever that number is.
Let me ask you this
25.
quick question, because this is not something that's very
Yeah, yeah,
common in the South.
yeah.
Is that I hear co-op a lot, and you're in Northeast, right? You up in Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Is that a product that's similar to where I hear people taking who are getting these co-ops, where it's almost like a rent to own type of situation? Kind of explain that to us a little
No.
bit, what that product
So
says.
a co-op is a little bit like a condo. It just has to do with the percentage of ownership and how
Mhm.
you get into the building is all. That's all the
Oh,
difference is.
okay.
Where it's a
Okay.
co-op is an apartment, so very similar to like a condo, right?
Yeah.
It's an apartment that you own, but in terms of the ownership, and you have to get approved and there's a board,
Yeah.
that's the biggest difference. And it is really hard because of the ownerships and the
Mhm.
percentages. It actually really is hard to get lending because remember, if you don't pay the mortgage, the bank is coming after you. But if
Yeah.
there's a different setup for ownerships, if the bank has to fight with the co-op
Yeah.
association to get their money back, they're not trying to lend. They're not trying to lend
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, it's a lot more people to
Um,
deal with. Yeah.
right,
See,
exactly.
So
More hoops
circling back
and
to my question,
litigations.
because I'm really curious about how that's going to work with people and the mortgages and being able to afford it.
So that one, understanding that, because that's a pertinent part in terms of what you're talking about, right? Of affordability, because at the end of you're getting a 1099 at the end of the year mailed to you from Bank of America that you got to report on your taxes. And that can be where you might be getting a refund and that's going to take all of the money. Or if you, whatever
Mm.
that person may get, right? If they're getting, let's say, $3,000, or let's say if they're getting $8,000, now they'll only get $3,000 or something like that in a tax refund. And they're not telling the customers. I know for a
That's
fact
a
because
huge problem.
I'm getting customers come to me, and those smart ones that are reading the loan estimate.
Yeah.
But we're not educated in none of that shit. We're not educated
Right.
in none of that. People
Right.
don't know what a loan estimate is. They're just like signing,
They just
right?
happy they just
And
happy
we
to
don't.
get in there. They just happy to get
So
in the
that's
home. Mhm.
important to understand, and not that it's a bad thing, but it drives me crazy. Like I said, it's for me with what I do and the fact
Mhm.
that that's
Of course.
my niche. I'm helping, especially the minority, right? Like
Yeah.
that's who low to moderate income borrowers are.
Absolutely.
Drives me nuts.
And
So I feel like
go ahead. Go ahead.
let me just answer the question, and then yeah. So I feel like this part of that is one, it's going to affect them monetarily long run when they
Okay.
do their taxes.
Yeah.
And then the short-term answer is that the way it works, so we follow, it's either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac guidelines, all the banks, because of the mortgage crash in 2008. That's how they protected now the housing economy. So we have to follow income calculations either from Fannie Mae or from Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
And there's something called debt to income ratio, right? So with the debt to income ratio, they have whatever their maximums are. The banks will kind of have a threshold. Industry standard, it's about 43% of your income you can have for total debt, which includes your mortgage payment. You can go up to 45. So there's a handful of factors. But what's going to happen is, to answer your question, Kia, that's what it's going to be, right? So they're going to say, okay, so with this house, because your debt to income ratio is basically all of your credit that shows up on your credit report, combined with your monthly mortgage, your proposed monthly mortgage, you divide that. We combine those two numbers, we divide it by the monthly income. That's what your debt to income ratio is. So if you're looking for a house and your DTI is 51, I'm assuming Bank of America is going to say you can't buy this house, but you can buy a house that's maybe $20,000 less or something like that. So I'm assuming, because they still have to.
I wish I was good at math.
So
I mean, I need a calculator for that stuff, but
this is good stuff, and this is why the demo that listens to this show, we're going through the traditional work, but we got cousins and brothers,
right?
And we got sisters who are going to be that we're trying to coach them and say, okay, this is a potential good program for you that may be good. What you just talked about a 1099, there's a lot of people who don't know what the hell a 1099 is.
Right.
No one would know that.
Right.
Right.
And so all of a sudden they get this in the mail and they're expecting what they get every year, that $4,000 or $5,000 return. And in that first year, you're like, where my money? Your money, you living in it. It's this house you sitting in.
But you got a 1099, unless you're an independent contractor like me who knows what that is. You're like, oh, you're basically saying you gave me free money, which means now I have to claim this on my taxes.
You gotta claim it and you got to pay taxes on it. Anybody got any questions or anything, or you want to drop anything in the comments?
So
we got.
I have one more question that's kind of interesting that a lot of my cousins and family members are running into. I have three cousins who are very successful, and one of them has a 2-story house but wants to move her father in and go to a 1-story house, and she wanted to sell her house. But the one thing she realized is, I can sell my house, but I can't afford to get another house. So how does this work with that? Because she really was blown away that even with how much money she makes and how well her and her wife do, they could sell their house for a lot of money, make a profit, and still not be able to afford a home. So how are people dealing with that right now? Because that blows me away.
So they're not, honestly. So I know like real legit first-time home buyers where it's taking them, some of them, I'll give them a pre-approval and they're coming back to me 6 months later, a year later. Some people have gotten just frustrated and they're just like, I've put off the stop. Because not only is it that they can't afford it, so it's twofold, 2 reasons why they can't afford it. They can't afford it because the home prices started going up at the beginning of the pandemic. So even with the interest rates lower, the home prices, people are nuts with how much they're asking over what the house is going to appraise for, right? That's one. But now what's even worse and what's bringing that debt to income ratio up is now with the rates, right? Back in 2020, the interest rates were 2.5%. Right now, we are breaching 6% interest rates. It is insane. So now imagine this house that you're over asking, you're over offering, you're overpaying for in theory. Now you're paying 6% interest rate? Nah. So then people can't afford it.
Like 3 years ago, that was a car loan 3 years ago. Right.
And I think I feel lucky that me and my husband got into our house. There's no way my husband and I would have gotten into this house now. We got in literally right before the pandemic happened. Got a great interest rate. We have a pool and 200,000+ square feet. We paid less than $300,000 for this house. Now there's no way. There's no way on God's green earth we'd be able to afford a house like that.
I ain't got no pool.
And that's sad.
You got a pool, Kia? I don't have a pool.
I just wanted to say that out loud. Yes, I have a pool.
See what I'm saying? You talking about me, upper. You got a pool. We got no pool.
Exactly. I got me a little concrete backyard. I live in the city of Philly. Like, I got a little concrete backyard.
You live in Philly? And then let's put everything in perspective. I live in a little city called Mineola, Florida. They've only been incorporated for like a decade. It's not even a real place.
Don't try to downplay your pool. You got a pool. You got a pool. Hey, we want to go real quick. Couple people, hey, Paul Duncan hanging out. It says, hey, India, what's up? India, what's up? Let's see who else we got. One of our favorites. Daggum right. Better not call me no sellout. Ain't nowhere near. But anyway,
That's another thing they hate is that when Black people do well, people always want to label you
Yeah.
as a sellout
I
because you
don't
do
care.
well. You
Yeah.
move your family. I know you don't care. I don't care either. Again,
Yeah,
cool.
bring
I'm
all
good.
the smoke.
So they
'cause
do always want to
I
label
got-
you
yeah.
as something.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they know people like us. We're constantly trying to educate and inform. We always say at Indy on our show,
Right.
you know, we start off with the sugar and you the salt. So we
Okay.
always, you know,
Okay.
we you know, all that stuff you saw at the top of the show, that's all fun. But then we gotta bring a little bit of education and people gotta
Gotcha.
walk away
Yeah.
with something. And
But she
you
has
know,
to
Yeah.
answer one sugar question though.
all right, what's her sugar question? Go ahead, Kia.
Uh-oh.
So you listen to the what section of all of those topics we talked about. Which one are you just like want to make a comment about? Of any of those what's comments we talked about? Ray J, the Kardashians, Nicki Minaj doxing people, Aries Spears thinking he didn't do nothing wrong with his awful
It
video.
was Aries Spears. It was Aries
Okay,
because
so-
Aries Spears, I have not liked Aries. So I'm born and raised in New York, and he's from New York, from Brooklyn.
Okay.
I can, and I'm a lesbian. I'm in the LGBT community. And I remember when I was still in New York, he went on Hot 97 and he started talking shit about gay people. And so for me, I have hated him. Yes, I have hated him since then. Yeah,
That
like
guy-
he was like,
yeah.
that's disgusting. That's like legit. Like just, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah.
He said, I see you.
But what do you want to say about his situation that he's going through right now with Tiffany Haddish?
Are you familiar
I don't
with
know
that
what the
situation?
situation. No, I
Okay.
don't know what the situation
Okay,
is.
so
No,
here's the
or
situation.
whatever it is, he's guilty. Like he's an asshole. Like for me,
Whatever it is. Whatever
It doesn't even matter.
So he and Tiffany Haddish did a video about 5-7 years ago. It's called himself a promotional video trying
From
a
the
skit.
eyes
It
of
was
a
a skit.
pedophile is
From
what
the
this
eyes
is
of a
called.
pedophile is what it was called. And in the video, Tiffany Haddish plays this girl. He plays the uncle. Here, watch my son. I got to run an errand. She brings the son down. The kid's about 7 years old. He's in his underwear, and he's supposed to be watching the kid. And so during the video, he got holes in the picture, and he's looking at the kid in his underwear, and they're playing R. Kelly in the background.
gotcha.
And he wants to say, "Oh, I'm not guilty of anything." Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know, so
yeah.
I just, we talk about we had Dr. Kirk Hondo on last week, who's a psychologist, and he does his reality shows and all that. Kia, amazing interview she got for us.
Yeah.
But the social media currency, man, what people will do for attention on social media right now.
Right.
Like, what are you thinking? That's all. Every time I run down these shows, these stories. There's more stories we didn't get to this week. The situation where the principal knocked down an 11-year-old kid, shoved him to the ground, special needs kid. It's just so much insane nonsense out here. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. There's no question there. I'm venting in this moment.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But Indy, I appreciate you coming on and giving us great insight. This is good. For people who go back, listen to what we're saying, and I'm assuming now they're all watching Bank of America. Bank of America and Wells Fargo, they're the big boys on the block. In addition to Truist, and we'll see if this product has success, and we'll see what success looks like. And we need to talk offline. I know that you worked with Chambers of Commerce. That's one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing that type of work. And I don't know. Let's talk. I don't know if it's some connections I can make for you up in Philly. But thank you, sis. I really appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Definitely.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye.
So great guest. Indy is the bomb. And I didn't really get a chance to get into all the other dope stuff that she does. She's an amazing content creator. What's wrong?
Sorry.
What's wrong?
No, I don't think if you could hear, there's something else I wanted to bring up. But yes, India is a great guest. I feel like she has a lot of knowledge. And I feel like with you and I, with someone like her, we were throwing questions at her because we wanted so many answers. She's like, wait, what? And here, okay, we're going to go. Let me go. Yeah. It's just, I think that when people are in college, and I mean this from the bottom of my soul, they need to start doing education in college about stuff like mortgages, buying a home. That may seem so rudimentary to people. It's not. It's a complicated process. A lot of people get in messed up situations, end up in fixer-uppers they didn't know was a fixer-upper. It's a lot.
It's going to take organizations like with the 100 Black men here in Atlanta. One of the things that we do both with high school kids and we have a collegiate 100, we teach them about financial literacy.
You have to.
You have to. because it's just like it's a part of the game that you don't teach people how to manage their money, and so then they're broke, and then they don't know why they're broke. And so we're doing that. You know, there may be a thing where we have to create these nonprofits that may go about helping these folks, or aligning ourselves with nonprofits who are going about helping these folks, because to your point, you know, a lot of people going to get took with this mortgage
Yes, a
situation.
lot of people are
They're
going
going
to
to be taken advantage of, and God knows I don't want that to happen. And let's hope.
And
you
even
know.
outside of that, I feel like even when we bought our house, we didn't know the questions to ask, probably like the roof, like, you know, when does the roof need to get repaired, your AC
Yep.
getting repaired, and it's just little
Yep.
questions like that. But thank
Yep.
you, India, for coming on. Dijon saying that NSU has a type of financial class required to graduate. See, that needs to be a cross university requirement.
Right.
Like, you have to pass
Right.
this financial literacy course. But I
Right.
cannot let this show go off. I
Mhm.
can't without
Mhm.
congratulating Cheryl Lee Ralph and saying
Yes.
how amazing her Emmy speech was last night. I was trying to pull it up to send to you, and it played. But
I've seen this. I've seen it so many different places. You know, yeah, you're exactly right. The Cheryl Lee Ralph and her Emmy speech, how she started it. I'll see if I can try to grab it. We got about a minute or two left.
And people didn't know that. For people who don't know, I mean, everybody who listens to our show probably knows, but I think a lot of the white people were confused, like, oh, she just came out of it nowhere. No, she was the original dream girl. She can sing because she started off on Broadway.
Absolutely. So
I mean, and as my age, I didn't get to really know her until she played, you know, the stepmom of Moesha. You know, hey, but
she
she did it for a while. But she's an icon, and I think it's great that she won the award. Quinta Brunson won the award for best writing in a comedy for Abbott Elementary, which comes back on September 21st. So you know, congrats to, and Lizzo won for.
She has
Black Women Are Fat. I don't know what that show's called. Is it called Black Women Are Fat?
I don't know what it's called. It's on Hulu, I believe.
It's on Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. It's a documentary that she did. Give Lizzo her props. That girl is super talented, and she is riding this wave right now. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to Shirley Ralph. Abbott Elementary is one of my absolute favorite shows right now. As we try to slide into what we're watching.
Funny.
We still didn't get a chance. Trey and I we both been busy this week. We didn't get a chance to finish up. Game of Thrones. Maybe we'll try to finish it up tonight. I know you wanted us to finish it.
You need to watch it.
We're gonna finish it. We're gonna get it.
I actually had to force. I know we're wrapping up, but I had to force my husband. He was doing laundry. He's like, "Nah, I think I'm gonna watch." I'm like, "No, you're gonna sit down. You're gonna watch this episode. I already watched it, and I need somebody to talk about it with. So watch it right now."
Yeah. So anyway, man, so much going on. Jesse Powell, R&B singer, just passed away. 51 years old. Shout out. I think he's from Gary, Indiana.
What did he pass away of? It hasn't really been stated.
I haven't heard exactly what he passed away of. I haven't seen that yet. But yeah. So, and there was somebody else, of course, that. Well, of course, we talked about PNB Rock and him passing away. And
I guess I forgot his name. David Arnold.
Threes.
David Arnold passed away. The comedian
David Arnold, the comedian. Yes. And I really I went to the we went to the Kevin Hart show on Friday night, and great. It was a funny show. You know, you can't take your phones in there, but they started off with a video, and I have to go back now. I didn't know who he was.
Oh, my mother loved Mama Blanche. She's the one who put me on to David Arnold. She loved him, thinks he's the funniest person on the planet. So we got on to me and my brother and our spouses, and he is hilarious. Fat Ballerina is hilarious. That's a comedy special. Fat Ballerina.
So we gonna go check. I'm gonna go check him out. Probably catch up. So much been going on, man. My man Akintunde told me I need to get on this. They're doing comedy shows in the metaverse now, and they're making a lot of money over there. And I'm just like, that whole putting that VR thing on my head. I don't know, but we'll see.
No.
We'll see. Hey man, if have money will travel. If there's some dough made over there, we're gonna research and see what's going on. All right, everybody. Appreciate you. Great show today. Kia, appreciate you. Kiss the babies for us. And eventually we're gonna have your baby girl she's gonna love me. It's gonna happen.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
It is like
my father, my brother.
I need an affirmative. That was your opportunity. Like, yes, Miguel, you're right. She's gonna love you. You was like, we're gonna get there.
We're gonna get because it's my father and my brother and you. It's just like black men are just like, I'm trying to make sure my baby isn't racist. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Like, just to make sure.
All right, y'all. We catch y'all next week. Make sure y'all follow us on all the Twitters and the socials and all that good stuff. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Bye, guys.